Let's set up some January monthly pages for my brand new reading journal and have a little chat about what I read in December as well. Hi, it's Erin, and we're going to make this one a bit of a Victorian Manor sort of theme. I'm still getting used to the B5 journal size. I'm usually an A5 kid, but I'm trying something different. I got this journal in one of the Archer and Olive subscription boxes from last year, and because I'm still so new to it, I have this kind of ridge going on here where I need to put something under the book, otherwise it doesn't sit flat on my desk here. Lucky for me, this little book of Australian poetry is the perfect width, so I'm just going to pop that under in case you're wondering what's going on there. And then we're going to get stuck into the cover page and also the reading stats page for the month of January. I thought it would be fun to try and use my beautiful vintage letterpress stamps again. They are really difficult though because they're vintage, they're a little bit worn down, they aren't even all the way across the face of the stamp, so you don't get an even stamp when you use them, so I usually try to massage it from the back of the page to try and get as much coverage as I can. They never quite come out perfect. I'm actually thinking of trying to make maybe stickers out of them so that I have a bit more of a surefire success rate with them. As it stands at the moment, I stamp it down and then I kind of go over it with a black marker to try and bring back some of the detail, but for now it's just fine. I kind of like the worn look of it a little bit too. Anyway, I just used those stamps for the capitals here and I did the rest with my usual letter stamps that I love, stamped it straight onto this piece of scrapbooking paper, and now I'm going to layer some things around. You know I love a collage layout, it's kind of my favorite thing to do. I'm layering it up with some script washi tape. This is one of my favorite washi tapes ever. I'm going to be so sad when I run out of it, but I have been using it for a long time and it's held up really well. I wanted to add something extra to my January Reads little scrapbooky page there, so I grabbed this stamp out. The silicone stamps are so much easier to use than those old letterpress stamps, so that's a bit of contrast, which is always fun. I only started adding a monthly set of pages in my reading journal from about August of 2023, and I have been really enjoying doing that. I read enough books that I feel like it's sustainable for me to do that, but if you're someone who reads less books, then it might be better to do sort of a seasonal one. I know Anna from Journal Away sets up sort of a winter reading list and a spring reading list and so on and so forth, so there's options out there for everyone, or you could not do this kind of thing at all, and that is also totally fine. I got this washi tape recently. It's from Paper Blanks and it's using one of the William Morris designs. It is so beautiful. Because it has a bit of a darker color palette going on, I feel like it really grounds the design, so I'm using that in a strip at the top and the bottom of the page to give me kind of an anchor that ties the left page and the right page together. And I picked up this paper pad from a Brisbane-based business, I believe they're Brisbane-based, called Ghosts of October, when I went to the Brisbane Oddities and Curiosities Expo recently, and it is so beautiful. So I thought it would be fun, since this book can fit a notebook page this size, I thought it would be really fun to use that as my reading stats section. At the end of January, I'll come back to this page and I'll fill out all of the reading stats here for the number of books that I complete and the number of pages read in total and that kind of thing. That's all going to go in this little notebook page right here. Isn't the cathedral style really cool? I think it's just so elaborate and beautiful. The stuff you can find for stationery these days is very, very cool. If you saw my January setup in my bullet journal, not my reading journal, but my bullet journal, you'll know I'm really into frames at the moment. These ones are different frames again, but they're also from JOURNALSAY. I thought it would be really fun to have the highlight book of the month for January in this little frame. So I'm putting a really minimal amount of glue tape on the back of it so I can peel it up later and put the book cover for the book that I love the most in January in this little gap. I'll have to try and measure it out and size it right. I probably won't be able to do that one with my HP sprocket like how I normally do my book covers, but that's okay. We'll work it out when the end of January rolls around. When the time comes, I'll work out how I'm going to do that one. A lot of the stickers I'm using for this setup actually came from the Sticky Club May 2023 vintage pack, which is called Marvels of the Manor. It has lots of beautiful Victorian staircases and bookshelves, and in particular lots of these little stickers that are kind of frames with things in them that sort of look a little bit like entomology vibes, I'm not sure, and some little keys and stuff like that. I felt like they worked really well together. It's almost like a little throwback to my October theme in my reading journal, which was kind of like the Addams family photos gallery wall. Anyway, I feel like that cover page worked pretty well, so we're going to move on to the next ones. I'm using the left page here for my Maybe Next, which is my TBR, I just don't like calling it that, and also the space for any books that I read that weren't on my TBR Maybe Next section. I used to do this across 2 pages. I'm trying to fit it just onto one because B5 journal baby, we've got heaps of room. I'm using my frames this time as a place to put my headings for the page. I'm going to split the page down the middle with my beautiful Paper Blanks washi tape, and I'm going to put the Maybe Next on the top and the actually read in January book list on the bottom. And I'm going to do this with my HP Sprocket and some mini book covers in those spaces. I have a reel about how I print my book covers with my HP Sprocket that I'll have linked in the description for you in case you're interested. And I'm using a glue pen this time to stick down all of my frames because I want to make sure that I get into all those little delicate areas. On the facing page, I'm putting together a little calendar where I can track the progress of the books that I'm reading kind of across a calendar. I tried this as the progress bar a little while ago and that was really fun too, but I feel like this just makes the most sense as far as page space, so I'm gonna bring this one back this time. I didn't do this in December and I sort of missed it, so we're bringing it back. Quick little interlude here. I'm very sorry if my voice sounds weird. I am quite unwell at the moment. I just have a really bad cold. It's not the most fun. It's made me not feel especially chatty, and in order to record voiceover, I have to turn off all the air conditioning in my house because it's quite noisy and it's very, very hot. We're having a bit of a heat wave at the moment, so if I'm a little bit less chatty than usual in this video, my apologies. I plan to be back to my usual chatty self by next week's video, so it's a bit of a bummer that this is the last one for the year and I'm not doing so great, but that's okay. We're gonna bounce back. 2024 is gonna hopefully be better than right now. With that spread done, we can turn the page, and this is the last of the pages for this setup for January in my reading journal. These two are actually both for book clubs. The left page is for The Literary Ladies, which is a book club that I have with some friends. We read approximately a book a month and we usually catch up for lunch or dinner or coffee or something similar to chat about the book, unless we can't all get into one place, and then we have our little catch up via Facebook Messenger video call instead. The right page is a new one for me. This is for the Page Mages, which is my book club that I'm running through the Discord server that is just for my Hand-Lettered Heroes channel members, which is so exciting. This is going to be our 3rd month of book clubbing. I'm still kind of finding my feet a little bit, but I'm feeling a bit more organized with running a book club over the internet now. Stick around until a little bit later in the video if you want to see which book we've chosen for January for the Page Mages book club. Once again, I'm planning to put the book cover in the frame on each of these pages, so I'm just going to glue them down really lightly and decorate quite gently around the outside so that I can put my thoughts on each of these books once I have read them. We haven't picked a literary ladies book yet for January, so I'm going to leave it blank in this video. If you're interested in learning more about the Page Mages book club and you might want to join us in the Discord, I would love to have you. You can hit the join button on my channel, or you can go down into the description and click on the link that's regarding channel memberships and find out some more information there. It's a really fun time, but you do need to be a channel member on the Hand-Lettered Heroes level to access the Discord server where we do all of our chatting about books, so I'd love to see you there. I'm also adding a little core pile section underneath the frames for each of these ones so that I can put my core pile rating info there for these books. I have yet to start using that system, but I'm excited to try it out. And thank you to those of you who let me know that it was G who invented that system. I had no idea, so it's very helpful to know where things are coming from in the book community. I appreciate you guys. Let's have a little mid-video all set up but not yet used flip through here, so remembering we're going to use that frame for a favourite book of the month up there, so that's going to have something in it later. Maybe next section, January read section for book covers there and ratings, and maybe the dates read period and the reading progress on the right page to show me dates, so maybe not dates on the other page, not sure. And my 2 book club pages, of course. Let's get in and populate some of this stuff. So I'm going to start out by printing 4 book covers here. These are all books that I'm hoping to read in January, although I make no promises. I am a mood reader and I cannot change, and I don't want to. So these ones I'll pop down as my maybe if I can't decide what to read, I will come back and look at this page kind of thing, but I'm pretty sure Ruthless Vows will happen because I'm excited about it. Actually, a little bit of a spoiler here. The House Witch is actually our Page Mages book club book, so that's not on the Page Mages page yet, but it will be later. I'm still working my way through the Sarah J. Maas things. I'm partway through the Throne of Glass series. I'm up to Queen of Shadows. Hopefully I'll be able to read that, although they don't have it in audiobook through my library, which is how I've been reading most of them. We'll see how we go. And A River Enchanted, which is also by Rebecca Ross, who also wrote Ruthless Vows, and Divine Rivals, because A River Enchanted comes highly recommended by my lovely friend Brooke, so I'm going to give that one a go on her recommendation. Of course, we need to put a nice big House Witch over here. This one I just did the full-size sprocket print rather than trying to perfectly fit the frames here because I'm sick and I'm lazy. We'll see how we go. I'm thinking of maybe not using the sprocket for all of my book covers this year because the sprocket paper is so thick, but I wasn't ready to think about trying to print them and potentially even cut them out with my Cricut just yet, so watch this space. Now we're going to switch journals. This is my 2023 reading journal, and we're going to jump into the December pages here, and I'll just update you a bit about what I've been reading over the past month, starting with The Christmas Fix, which was my Literary Ladies book club book for December. I don't think I get along with Lucy Score, you guys. I didn't think it was as bad as Things We Never Got Over, which I read earlier this year, but I'm giving it a 3. It was fine. It was not memorable. I'm sorry. To those of you who like Lucy Score, it's okay for us to like different things. I'd already set up a spread for this within my December pages, so I just was able to jump into my Literary Ladies page and fill out all of the details here, and then just write my thoughts on this book, which I will just kind of speed through that a little bit for you, because if you want to read it, you're welcome to, and you can zoom in, but if you don't want to read it, then that's okay too, because there may be spoilers in the blurbs on these books that I have read, just FYI. And if you don't like spoilers, I don't like spoilers, so I totally agree, and I get you. I think this one was technically the second in a series, which made it not actually at all difficult to read. You know, I guess I already know what would have happened in the first one, and it was about a different couple and they were already together in this one, and that's totally fine. It was Christmassy, but it was also, I don't know, I just thought the characters were annoying. That's just me. Bit caricatured, bit bland. I don't know what else to tell you. I'd already set up this spread for Inner Holidays when I was putting together some stuff. It's actually in a vlog that I put up a couple of weeks ago, so there's a link to that up in the corner or in the description in case you'd like to see that happen. And this spread is for Divine Rivals, which I listened to on audiobook recently and I loved it. So it's getting one of those nice art pages. Now that I know around about how many books I might get through in the next, couple of days, there's not much of December left. I know I've got enough room to do some fun art pages for some of these books. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a nice big kind of copying heading moment in the middle of the page. I'm just going to sketch it out in pencil first. I'm going to use some markers to kind of copy the typewriter design of the D and the R from the cover. And I have a really good time setting this one up, because this is the point of my reading journal to me, is to live in the worlds of these books that I've loved for a little bit longer, even after I've finished them, and just, revel in them a little bit and dwell in that world a little bit longer. I think it's really fun. Divine Rivals, I know, has been really popular. If you haven't heard about it, it's a YA book, I think. I don't really care about who the books I read are aimed for, as long as I enjoy them, it's all good. This one is it's a love story, and it's set in a fictional fantasy world's war time and following the lives of two young journalists who are kind of connected magically. It's beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. The audiobook was wonderful to listen to. I had this typewriter sticker conveniently from the set of sticky ones earlier, and if you've read the book, you will know why the typewriter sticker is perfect for this. I did this one on audiobook through my library, and I actually had to wait something like 6 weeks for my turn at the audiobook because it was very popular. I had to have it on hold for a while, and I know that was the case for a lot of my channel members too. So if you haven't had a chance to read this, but you can put it on hold through your library or something, I urge you to do so. It is such a beautiful story, and the next one has just come out, actually, I believe. I listed it on my maybe next page earlier. It's called Ruthless Vows, and I don't think my library even has it available yet, but when they do, I'll be jumping on it, and maybe I just won't wait and I'll get it on Audible. We'll have to see. Also, I'm going to try to link to everything that I use in this video in the description down below. I'll have it organized by the name of the spread, like Divine Rivals, and then links to the washi tapes and stuff that I've used. That said, my head hasn't been working all that well lately, so if I miss anything, please just ask in the comments and I'll let you know what it was and where it's from, and I'll update it to have the link, because I will probably miss something in my current state. Divine Rivals spread is done, so I can turn the page now, and this one is going to be for Iron Flame, which was the book after Fourth Wing that everybody talked about this year. I had these dragon stickers from Sticky, and I've been hoarding them because I knew I was going to want to use dragon stickers on the spread about the dragon book. I actually had another set that were yellow that I feel like go really well with the colour scheme of Iron Flame, and Fourth Wing, the book covers are kind of that goldy yellow colour, but I couldn't find the gold ones anyway, so whatever, we're going to do blue Iron Flame, it's fine. I was really busy throughout November and December, which I feel is probably the case for most people, and I was reading Iron Flame on ebook, and so it took me over a month, I think, to really work my way through it, so probably a little bit longer than most people took to read it. I did really enjoy it. I didn't quite enjoy it as much as Fourth Wing, but I think that was mostly because the last maybe quarter of the book seemed rushed to me. Some of the stuff didn't really make sense. There were a lot of typos, there were a lot of grammatical errors, and I'm usually okay with that kind of stuff. I'm usually happy to give people some grace, but there were that many of them that I was like, this should have gone through more rounds of editing. I'm sorry. I know you wanted to get it out quickly while the hype was big, but you could have taken another month, you know? I'm still giving it 4 stars. I still think it's very much worth a read. I just hope that they take their time a little bit more on the next installment, that's all. And I don't think I'm the only person to have felt this way, so hopefully they will take that feedback on board. We'll have to wait and see, but either way, I'm still very invested in the story. I actually saw the big twist at the end coming, which is not normal for me. I usually am sort of a head empty, no thoughts, just absorb the book as it goes kind of girl, but I was like, oh, I think I know where this is gonna go. And then it did. And I was like, wow, I'm so smart for once in my life. Iron Flame's got its spread all set up, so I'm going to flip back now to my books read in 2023 list and update it because I'm a few books behind here. So I'm just going to refer back to my Goodreads list because I'm much more on top of updating Goodreads and Storygraph than I am my reading journal. I just do it in batches like this when the camera's on so that we can kind of spend that time together. And I do have links to my Goodreads and my Storygraph in the description down below in case you want to be mates over there. I would love that. That would be great. Mates in the Australian friend sense, not mates in the fantasy novel sense. Honestly, as an Australian, I really struggle with that word in the context of fantasy books because that's just not how we use it. Flipping on back to the December pages here, I'm just going to make sure that the Maybe Next and the December Reads pages are up to date. So I'm going to fill in the star rating and the dates read for Christmas presents. I did the 3rd one because I'm rating this one 3 stars, but then I forgot to colour in the first 2. Don't worry, I will realise that I did that and I will colour them in a little bit. It's going to be okay. I've noticed with my star rating stamp, it's best for me to fill in the highest rating part of the star. So say with Iron Flame there, I rated it 4 out of 5. I need to colour in the 4th star first, otherwise I will accidentally forget what I'm doing and end up colouring them all in and give books 5 stars that I didn't mean to give 5 stars to. And then I have to get out my white paint marker and make them white on the inside again, and like it's a whole thing. So anyway, here's the next batch of books that don't yet have a place to go. 2 of these are Christmas novellas. That's Foxing Day by Amy Vance and B. Perkins. That one is a very recent surprise holiday novella for the Deadlights Cove series, which I love. Actually, the other novella was Christmas Presents by Tara DeWitt, which was a series of Christmas stories around her main characters for existing books, so that was a fun time too. We read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens for the Page Majors book club for December because it was really hard to find one we could all access, so that was a really good choice because it was really easy to get our hands on. I read the Audible version, read by Hugh Grant, which was a really fun time. I also reread Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison, which is the 3rd book in the Lovelight Farms series. Lovelight series. Lovelight Farms is the 1st book. Absolutely love them. I think this is my favourite of the 3 so far. The 4th one is coming out sometime in 2024. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. B.K. Borison is an incredible writer. I love her stuff. And I'm currently partway through Christmas at the Cat Cafe, which is fine. I haven't finished it yet. I probably will finish it by the end of the year, so I've stuck it on the December Reads page there as well. And I'm going to set up some pages here for... I'm not calling it the boring books, it's just the books that I don't want to decorate for, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put A Christmas Carol here because it was quite short, even though it's not self-describing as a novella. It was very short and easy to listen to in one day. That's going to go over here. I'm going to put Foxing Day in the bottom half of this page. I just feel like they don't need a whole page each, you know, so a little bit of room here is totally fine. And on the right page, I'm going to leave a space for Christmas at the Cat Cafe that I will fill out once I have finished listening to it. I do actually own a lot of cat stickers, so I probably could have given it a pretty spread, but I'm just not enjoying the book enough to feel like it warrants a pretty spread, you know? It's fine. signals really does warrant a pretty spread though. This actually is the book that made me want to start a reading journal. I read it when it first came out, and I think it was kind of towards the end of 2022. And I was like, I just want to live in this book for a little bit longer. I just want to hang out with Layla and Caleb and indulge in the delicious baked goods world that is Layla's Bakehouse. It was just so warm and fuzzy and beautiful. And I have all of this strawberry stuff from a video I made recently with Journal Junk Box, so I thought this was just the perfect opportunity to use their strawberry washi tape, use some of the die-cut scrapbooking bits that came with that set, and also just some other washi tape from my collection. So fantastic opportunity. Thank you, Layla, for being super into strawberry things. Much appreciated. Made for a really cute spread, and I finally got to do it because when I did start my reading journal, it was kind of already too late. I didn't feel like it was fresh enough in my mind to set up a spread for this one. Now I finally get to do it, and that makes me really happy. I do want to mention I gave this book 5 stars, and that does make it one of my highest rated reads of the year, but I'm not including it in my favorite reads of 2023 page because I didn't read it for the first time in 2023, if that makes sense. I read it for the first time in 2022. So I'm reserving my favorite reads page for books that I read for the first time. They don't need to have come out this year, but they do need to have been books that I read for the first time this year, if that makes sense. Just my own like qualifying system. And that brings us to the end of what I read in December, so let's have a quick flip through. If you want to see me fill out these reading stats, keep an eye on my Instagram. I will endeavour to fill them out on Instagram stories for you if I am feeling well enough, but I make no promises. I actually couldn't find the mistletoe motive anywhere, and I didn't read Lola in the Mirror, but I hope to read it later. Still working on Christmas at the Cat Cafe, obviously, but the December pages I think have come out really good. I really like the way all of the Christmas stuff came together. I read quite a bit of Christmas bookage. I didn't really feel the Christmas vibes despite that, but that's okay. Maybe next year we'll see how we go. It was still a good month for reading, so I am not mad. I got to read about dragons, I got to read about typewriters and gods. I forgot to put the date range that I read Iron Flame here in the format, so I'm just going to quickly add that while I'm noticing it. Sorry about that. Real-time updates for you in the flip through. That's unusual, but here we are. Christmas Carol and Foxing Day are all done. Christmas at the Cat Cafe is pending. I'll probably finish it tomorrow, to be honest. I love my mixed signals spread, and then I have these extra ones left over, only like 3 or 4 spreads, depending on whether you count the one that's had some bleed through or not. I'm going to use these for my reading stats that I'm going to pull from Storygraph. I will fill those out with you in my flip through video, and I just found a sticker in the back pocket, so I'm just going to take that out so I didn't lose it. Then switching back over to the 2024 journal, these are the January pages once again. That's where the favourite book of the month is going to go. We'll fill out the reading stats together. I plan to be healthy by then again. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing what books actually end up being read in January, especially like the first read of a new year is always a really fun time. So excited to see where the page majors go in 2024. It's going to be great. And look at all this potential. This is going to hold all of the books from this year and I'm so excited about it. Thank you for joining me for this video. I hope to catch you again really soon. You can see my initial setup for my reading journal on the top right here, and underneath that is a playlist of all of my reading journal videos so far. See you again soon. Bye.